Perhaps this is the Jason Ryles Cup. The Storm have let him go early, ready to start his duties ahead of being the head coach of the Eels next year. And from what we're hearing, he's already making sweeping changes, telling Trent Barrett that he won't be there as part of the coaching staff next year. Mitchell Moses potentially going to be the captain. Clint Gutherson potentially in the centres as well, so that Blaze Talangi, they can lock him down and he'll be the fullback. Gus, is there any real surprise to hear, I guess, all three of these potential changes, given that every time a new coach comes in, you expect them to do things their way and not make a statement, but show that this is my team?
To some extent, I think a lot of it is media scuttlebutt.
Hey.
I do think that Jason Ryles will bring a new look to the coaching staff. Parramatta are at the bottom of the ladder for a reason. You know, he needs to work out what those reasons are. It certainly looks like a talented roster. It looks like a better roster than their position on the ladder says. Their football, they look like a better football team. Well, they should be a better football team than the way they're performing. So whether that's off the field, whether it's in the coaching ranks or whether it's in the playing ranks, eventually he'll work it out. He probably can't work out the playing ranks until he gets there and spends some time with them. But it wouldn't surprise me if he puts a broom right through the coaching ranks and brings people that he knows and trusts that can think the way he does.
Gus, if I'm Clint Gutherson, I'm hearing I might lose a captaincy.
That's the media scuttlebutt, Danny.
You don't believe
No, we call him Widler now, don't we? Widler?
That's what I call him.
Yeah, Widler. That's the best part of the show so far. She calls you Widler.
Widler and
Gal.
Yeah,
I don't know who's that insulting more than me. You know, I'm here.
If I'm Gutho and I'm hearing this scuttlebutt, and I'm offering to move positions, and I'm wondering if I'm loved by the club anymore. I mean, to me, he's a heart and soul player at Parramatta. I mean, surely he's got some value for them, and I don't know. Like I like him as a leader.
That's why I think a lot of it is media scuttlebutt. I don't know how much of that to believe whatsoever. I think if you're going there as the new head coach, he would be the first bloke you go and sit down and never talk to, because I think he's important. You know, as to what position he plays and what the makeup of the roster looks like into the future. Well, that's you've got a long time to get that sorted. But so far as the culture of the club and you know, for an insight into why the club is where it is, he'd be the most important person to talk to right at the moment. As you say, he's a heart and soul player. Scores tries, set-ups tries, saves tries, and he seems to be giving 100% of himself even when they're playing poorly. So that's why I put it down to media scuttlebutt.
He's got a lot. His top 4, 5 or 6 players, there's about $5 million cut up between their top 5 or 6 players. Is that right? So I mean, there's guys like Cam Gillard, Junior Paulo, Gutho. I mean, Mitchell Moses. Dylan Brown's got a clause in his contract every year to get out.
Every couple of years.
Yeah, until 2032 or 2032, is it? 2032. So I mean, he can't. That's going to be. He can't go in and change contracts. He can go in and try and clean the place out. He's already told Ryan Madison reportedly that he can look elsewhere, but to actually go in and change those contracts, he can't.
Do you want Gutho as your captain?
Oh, I would. Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's a heart and soul player. He's definitely at that club. So that's probably, it could be Scuttlegut, but we don't know.
Scuttlegut.
Scuttlegut.
That's a new one.
But I mean, look, he's a great player, Gubbo, and he has been for a very long time. I'd sort of be a bit dirty if I was him, if I was moved from fullback. Fullback's been his position for such a long time. This young guy, Talangi, coming through. I was talking to Gus in the break about what position he is. Reportedly, he was a centre back in the day. So I haven't seen him play at fullback. I don't know how he goes at fullback, but fullback's a big job in the NRL these days. It's probably one of your most important positions on the first part of your spine. Look, I know you don't make a lot of tuckers, but your first defensive line, you got to get your defence right. Everyone looks at the fullback straight away. He points and tells you what part of the field to go to. I don't know if he's any good at that. So it's a big job being a fullback in the NRL these days. For a young guy to come in and expect he can just do it, I don't know. I don't know how good he's going to be at it.
Is that the biggest job defensively for a young fullback? Because I know James Tedesco said that even when he went to the Roosters, that it's a big job to be organising that defensive line. Doesn't matter how fast you are, how great your footwork is. You know, you have to be the general, and it's a big job for Blaze.
Yeah, that's the way the modern day game is set up, and the fullback, particularly a goal line defence, is the minister for defence. He organises the line and how many are each side of the play the ball. Also on the try line, where the fullback defends, he virtually defends near the play the ball. And you'll see fullbacks that are inexperienced or a little bit small do get targeted by bigger players in other sides. You look at tries that are scored from close range, generally they're targeting the fullback that's on the line. And that's where Blaze Talangi is going to have some issues. He's going to have some issues organising the defence until he learns his craft over a period of time. I don't think he's a fullback. I've seen him play fullback. I just don't think he is. He's exciting with the ball in hand. He can score tries, he can back up, he's got a neat step, and if he gets the ball with a bit of room to move, he can make people miss. But there's a lot more to playing fullback in the modern game than just being a smart ball runner. I think he'd be very effective outside a couple of really creative halves playing in the centres. I think that's where he's mostly played his football. You could play him 5'8", I guess, at a pinch, but they've got a pretty good half and 5'8" there at the moment. I wouldn't be playing him fullback. I certainly wouldn't be moving Gutherson from fullback in that side at the moment.
What about for Trent Barrett, Danny? The fact that, I mean, he's been told, if it's scuttlebutt or not, that is to move on. Yeah. Do you see him ending up at another club soon, whether it's as an assistant? I mean, there's a long line for head coaches, but do you think Trent Barrett will find another gig?
Look, hopefully for Trent, he will. I mean, I think in the foreseeable future, it's not going to be as a head coach. I mean, there are a number of coaches now ahead of Trent Barrett, and he didn't have huge success, unfortunately, at Manly or at the Dogs. And look, he's obviously a capable coach, but assistant coach might be his position at the moment. I think he's going to try and reinvent himself to some degree. I think he's going to work on some of the things he's been deficient in, including maybe his relationships with some of the media. And I think that he's going to try and push himself forward. But right now, Emma, I think that assistant coach is where it's at for Trent Barrett.